right. Hello, everyone. My name is Marcy LaBelle, and I am one of the summit co-hosts for the upcoming Real Success Summit we are having. Today, I have someone very special with me that I'd like to introduce you to, the incredible Paul O'Mahony, who is an expert in social media marketing and has helped people around the world from all walks of life create massive value and success, even if they don't have a business or a product. Really incredible to have you here with us today, Paul.
Thank you for having me, Marcy. Delighted to be here.
Absolutely. So wanted to find out a little bit more. You've been doing social media now and marketing and really helping people from around the world. You're the founder and CEO of Rethink Academy, and wanted to find out from you about how you started all of this and like why you do what you do and how this really helps people.
Sure. Well, thank you for the opportunity to go through that. There is like a very long story behind that, which I will share at a future event, possibly even our event coming up soon. But the long and short of it is I'm the son of two teachers. So it's kind of important as part of my story because everything I learned from a really young age was about the importance of formal education. And I would consider myself the poster child for it in that, I did everything you were supposed to do. I went to university. I have a first class honors degree in industrial biochemistry, a first class in chemical engineering. I have a master's in business administration, MBA. I'm a project management professional. And at age 30 years of age, having been in a corporate world for 9 years, I invested in my house, or would you say invested or bought a house, and then bought an investment property in 2007, which was just before the market kind of burst in Ireland at that time. And suddenly I found myself having done everything I was supposed to do, almost €500,000 in negative equity, with money that, I never really had, right? It was borrowed from the bank. And I suddenly realized, wow, this term mortgage, which comes from the Latin word meaning mortir, meaning death. So I literally had debt until death with two separate houses, having done everything you were supposed to do exactly by the book, having done all the formal education. And I was now completely broke, even though people couldn't see that, because it was almost like everybody was living this facade. They were driving a car they didn't own. They were living in a house they didn't own. In fact, they were spending 10 hours a day outside of the house that they paid for in order to pay for the house that they slept in that evening. And I just started to question these things on how has this happened and why don't more people ask questions about, is this really the dream? So at 30 years of age, I went to a conference in Dublin in Ireland. And for the first time in my whole life, I sat through a conference learning about alternative ways of generating an income outside of a job 9 to 5. And that was when my eyes were open to the whole idea of creating a business on the internet. Not only that, how to create a business without having experience in business, without having your own products, without having your own services. And I actually invested in 3 separate programs from complete strangers. And it took a while to kind of just even mentally to absorb the fact that, these people are not qualified to teach me, and that they're not qualified in colleges or anything, but they're multimillionaires. And it was the ego gets in the way a little bit to kind of go, I need to learn new skills. I need to unlearn what I'm doing, assuming what they're saying is correct. What's the worst that could happen here? And so I went and I invested in the 3 programs. I started learning about how to use the internet to build a business without products or services. And within 4 months, I was making over $10,000 a month from Twitter, as it was known at the time. And that's someone who has no technical experience, does not like social media, and didn't have my own products. And there was no entrepreneurship in my blood, right? I'm coming from a strong lineage of agriculture or teaching. And suddenly I realized, wow, if I can do this, maybe others can. But it took me the next month, the money doubled, the next month it doubled again. And even then I was still thinking this is going to burst, or this bubble is going to burst. Surely this can't happen. Surely this can't happen every month. And then I started to be showcased, let's say for want of a better word, at events where the people who I had done programs with said, hey, here's an example of a guy who had a job. and now he's making more money from doing this than he ever did in his job. Here's his story. And when I used to tell my story just as plainly as I did now, people very much resonated with it. And they asked me, rather than the experts, would you mind showing us what you do? Because they really felt that I was just one step ahead of where they were at, which is actually very true. And I didn't hype it up. I didn't talk about Ferraris or Lamborghinis or mansions, because I was still in my mid-terraced house that I was paying the mortgage on and driving my Opel Astra that I had a car loan on. And they really related to that okay, perfect, he's got this money issue sorted. You know, I can really feel like I can ask this guy questions. And so I built an entire company around that, where basically helping people who either wanted to move careers, who wanted to do something on the side, or even if they had a business already and just were fearful of the internet, how they could actually grow their presence online. And it was using social media and Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, now Instagram. I don't know how to use all of these things, but I have a whole coaching team who are experts in these individual networks, which has set our company up perfectly to be able to support complete beginners or people who are relatively experienced, or even people that are professionals at this, to take wherever they're at right now from a financial perspective to a whole new place, and where they can take, you know, depression economically into expression of what it is that they love to do and turn it into kind of financial reward.
Amazing. I think a lot of people can really relate to that, where, you know, they've gone through everything that they've been taught or told to do. They've, you know, climbed the ladder, they've done the things. You said maybe they've gotten the mortgage and they're not getting the results, or the things that they told, oh, if you do these things, follow it, this is the result you're going to get. You're going to be wealthy, you're going to feel this, you're going to whatever it is. And they're like, wait a minute, I think there's something more. So that's incredible that you've gone through, you've walked that path and said, hey, wait a minute. And it's those people out there that are willing to stop. And I love how you've named your Academy Rethink. Just stop and rethink and say, wait a minute, there's something else different that I can be doing. And the path forward with social media is really a powerful one. So what have you found for people that are wanting to grow their social media presence online and begin to maybe start a business like that? What have you found is some of the biggest challenges that they've come across?
Oh, well, okay, good question. The biggest challenge is it's so noisy. There's so many networks, and also the fact that most people think that they know how to use social media based on what they're seeing as a consumer. So they go onto Instagram to see lots of reels and lots of posts. They go onto Facebook to see lots of people showing pictures of this and that. And they just assume, oh, this is what the social media thing is. It's almost like trying to trade the stock market. And you just say, okay, just let me log in, and you see up and down, up and down. You just want to get involved. That's exactly the biggest problem with people on social media. They just want to get stuck in, and they think they know what it is because they're so familiar with seeing what posts look like. While what they need to be to be way more strategic with it, because it's only a tool, and it's a tool designed to waste all of your time every hour in the day. So you need to have a very different mindset when you're using social media, that this is not personal time. This is not catching up on your friends and family time. You're using it, like I say, social media for grown-ups. You're going in there to see how much money are you spending, how much money are you making? How can you turn time that you're using there into money that you wouldn't be making otherwise? And how to completely rethink social media, right? So it's using time you're already spending there to actually turn into an income that could literally replace your salary or so much more if you're willing to do that. But you don't learn that from your friends and peers and family, which is what people tend to do with social media. They go, oh, you just do this, you just post that or do that. And, you know, that just becomes piecemeal. It becomes hit and miss. And you basically, what happens then is you feel like, I've done the social media thing and it didn't work for me. Or you don't even say for me, you just say it didn't work, the end. So you rule out that as a vehicle for success for the rest of your life. You know, it's like saying, oh, I bought a house once, I lost money with it. That's it. Real estate's a joke forever, you know, without realizing, you know what, there's a very specific way of using this tool. And it's likely the less time and money you've spent on learning it, the highest possibility and probability that you're going to fail at it. You know, you need to actually just step away from it and have somebody who's a professional show you how to do this. So that's the big thing, is that people really get confused between being a consumer using it and being the producer using it as a tool to, bring in income every single week.
That makes a lot of sense. Yes, I've also heard that from some of my friends and family saying, "I tried social media, it just doesn't work." No, exactly. So one of the big things then is that they need to have a strategy and not just sort of piecemeal, but a proven strategy. What are some other pointers you might be able to give folks that are looking to start out in social media?
Yeah, so I would I probably make sure, again, it depends on each individual, right? There are a lot of people who like to be the star, right? Their profile says, yeah, I'm a star, I'm a creator, I want to be out there, the peacock, as we call them at Rethink Academy. Like, we literally get people to fill out a quiz to see what type of animal or bird that they become. And the influencer is the peacock, right? I'm happy to show off, happy to post, happy to show people my life. And then we've got people who are like foxes, right? They want to be hidden in the background. They still want to succeed, but they don't necessarily want to be to the forefront. So depending on your individual characteristics, which are really important to figure out in the beginning, you would have a very different strategy for social media. So if you are the influencer in the peacock, you're going to be the personal brand. So that's what you're going to grow. And then once you're aware that, okay, I'm the brand, then you just need to get your messaging that it's, even though you're the brand, the message is not about you, hey, just me, I'm the peacock. It's about the person you're serving. It's about what you can do to help them. It's about them being the hero in their story, in their journey, not you being the hero in what they're looking at. And that's so commonly a mistake that's made, because, again, you're learning by watching what others are doing, assuming that that's what works. And then you have a whole host of people, another half of people who've no interest in social media, no interest in anything to do with having their face appearing on it. So you need to look at building a business brand. And a lot of people think, yeah, but is that going to work? Well, it doesn't seem to have done McDonald's any harm, or Starbucks, or Costa, or Facebook, Meta, or all these brands where they're actually, they're business brands, right? They've got more longevity in their own way, right? They've got more scope to scale in their own way. So in your case, then you would create, you come up with a company name, brand name, and logo, and that's it. You would grow that brand, and that again would have a very different, distinctive feel to you, the individual. It would change your approach in terms of what the expectation of somebody would be who's looking about a brand. They're not expecting selfies, they're not expecting, lifestyle pictures, etc. So again, that's what I mean. It depends on what the person's approach is, because it'd be very different. You're selling you and your own thing, you go down the personal brand route. If you're selling other people's stuff or other business stuff, you create an umbrella brand, which you grow. And in my case, I've done both. I have the Rethink Academy, where we've 16 to 20 separate coaches and a whole team, and lots of different 12 best-selling books and courses and programs. And then we've got my brand, which is individually more around mindset, motivation, longevity, living a healthier life, that type of thing, where I'm very keen on that aspect of it. Because when you feel you've money kind of and business organized in your life, you're then like drawn towards these other areas, which become a new challenge. And so that has allowed me to continue to be excited with what I'm doing personally, and at the same time have a business running where that has its own social media and its own branding, etc. So if you begin thinking like that in the beginning, it really sets you up for success a little bit later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are some great, really, really amazing tips. And you're going to be talking more about these sorts of things in your talk on the summit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot wait to do it, because the first thing to be clear on is you do not need to like social media whatsoever to listen to this talk. In fact, I would strongly advise you, if that's your relationship with social media, that you need to be there, because you're instantly removing the potential of getting in front of half of the entire planet, 4 billion people, by not utilizing this tool. So even if you're not in business either, that actually won't matter. I'm going to be sharing with you, and what I would share with you is the 4-step process that literally anybody who's able to use a computer can start with, and learn what type of business area should you get in if you want to build an income on the internet. Then how do you actually set this up that this income is continues to grow? It doesn't matter what happens in the external economy, you will continue to thrive. You'll never run out of products to sell. you'll never run out of the opportunity to find more people looking for what it is that you will be selling. And then also, how can you automate this that you can step back once you've put the work in and set this up, that it becomes a lot more passive for you. And, you know, you can get back to what the dream is for most people, which is, you know, I want more free time and I want more money, which is like the entrepreneurial almost poster. And then 96% of entrepreneurs fail because they just get into it, traditional entrepreneurship, and they think, well, I've less time and I've less money. You know, this isn't what the dream I was sold. And just like education, you know, we were taught, traditional education, I should say, you know, if you do this, you're going to have a good job and you're going to get paid well and you're going to live a great life. And that is correct 30 years ago. It's completely, you know, it's like this chunk of time has passed and the education system has remained the same. And now people are coming out that other side realizing, okay, I'm stuck. The internet sounds scary to me. Maybe it's a bit of a scam. I heard about this person who got scammed. Or, you know, it's very easy to come up with excuses as to why nothing will work for you. When my whole premise on all of this is, look, if you're happy with what you're doing, great. You don't even need to come and watch this. But if you're sitting there and you're rethinking about, you know what, I just don't feel that where I'm at in life reflects the effort I've put in, the time I've put in, especially when you see all these other success stories. And I can assure you that if you start using the internet and social media, you can unlock that potential within yourself, because your big advantage is most people are lazy. Most people are just waiting for handouts and they're just waiting for somebody else to fix their problems. The fact that you're even watching this video in the first place means that you're at a minimum curious and interested. But curiosity and interest didn't get people too far down that road of success. What gets them down that road is now taking that curiosity and turning it into commitment, making a decision that, you know what, I'm going to sit through this, I'm going to take notes, and I'm going to apply what this guy is telling me. We've made almost $70 million online over the past few years, starting from zero experience, zero money, knowing zero technically about any of this stuff, and 0 followers on social media. So again, I just think I might have a thing or two to share with you in a non-hypey way where you'll actually think, wow. And you know what? There aren't many people like me out there that are willing to actually take the leap, and then they kind of look back and say, right, who wants to come across the bridge with me? And that's exactly what I want to share with you, is how to break it down into 4 simple steps that literally anybody can do that's willing to put some time and effort in. And that starts with showing up, watching me speaking about this, and not just me. I mean, there's incredible speakers coming to this. So just make sure, if you haven't already done so, that you've registered for this. And secondly, make sure you put it into your calendar twice so that you know exactly when it's on. Because again, having it in there is one thing, that's interest. Showing up, that's commitment, right? And actually taking the action to be there and learn and listen and get your new year off to, like, 2024 next year. It's like, we've all heard about the idea of 24/7, but this is your 24, right? It's coming. So if you want income coming in 24/7, make sure you do something differently in 24 than you've done in the past. And that starts with just listening to people who do things differently on a 24/7 basis.
That's one of the reasons we appreciate you, Paul, is because you've helped so many people in the real success community to be able to generate income, to be able to start to shift their lives and head in the direction that they have always dreamed of. So appreciate you also taking the time today. Like Paul said, if you haven't already registered, make sure you do. And definitely show up, attend. Paul's going to be sharing more incredible tips, more incredible ways, those 4 steps. You will not want to miss that. We've got a whole lot of amazing things for you. So thank you again, Paul. Thank you for watching this video, and we will see you at the summit.
Thank you, everybody.